Hey, I'm Shadi Jauke, and I'm delighted to be one of the hosts for this inaugural episode of SAICA News.
Hi, I'm Dineshri Palen. What a great privilege it is as a chartered accountant to keep other CAs informed of what's happening in our profession. Shadi, what makes you proud to be a CA?
Well, one of the things that makes me proud to be a CA is that it equips me with a myriad of skills that I can apply across various sectors of industry. And you, Dineshri?
For me, I'm happy to know the diversity of talent that a CA can offer. Personally, being on the SAICA 35 under 35 competition, I see the diversity of talent that a CA can offer, and that's what makes me proud to be a CA.
We are delighted to be a part of the launch of this monthly news show where we will share with you what has been happening at SAICA and the most important news that you, the members, should be aware of. And now, before we update you on some of SAICA's top announcements, let's hear from SAICA CEO Freeman Nomvalo.
Every year, SAICA does a professional health index survey, and I want to invite all members to take part in the survey. By sharing your valuable input, you can help us enhance trust and credibility in the profession and ensure the premiership status and value thereof. It will take approximately 7 minutes of your time. Kindly take part in the survey by following the link below. On behalf of the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants and its staff, I congratulate Ms. Takani Maluleke for being nominated as the Auditor General-elect. We are proud to know that Ms. Maluleke, a member and the board chairman of our institute, has been recognized for her excellent leadership skills, as well as being dedicated and driving force for superior performance in the public sector. We celebrate this recommendation with her and trust that she will experience many more years of success as a proud Chartered Accountant South Africa ambassador. We have confidence in her abilities, competence, as well as a dedication to our country. I thank you.
We have announced the top 35 under 35 finalists for 2020. The competition was launched in 2014 to recognize young CA achievers. As always, the talent of these finalists is astonishing. You can read more about the finalists in the ASA magazine and meet them through a series of webinars that will be hosted at the end of October and November. Here's a short congratulatory message from last year's winner, Impho Mukapile.
Congratulations to you for making it as SAICA's 2020's top 35 under 35 finalist. We're not only congratulating and celebrating you for making it as a finalist, but we're celebrating you for the impact that you've had on those around you as you lead them, as you empower, and as you influence those who are within your circle. I wish you all the best towards the finals and enjoy the journey to the finals, and we will meet you there.
Over the past few months, the CEO Roadshows have been held virtually. It has proved to be a tremendous success, making it possible for the SAICA senior executive team to support the CEO in the message that has been delivered. This enabled members to receive a lot more detail to specific queries that were raised. All these questions raised during these roadshows were recorded and responded to. Members can find the answers to these questions by clicking the frequently asked questions at the bottom of the SAICA homepage. We now cross over to Ajar Panchubai, who is the Senior Executive of Member Engagement. He will share highlights of SAICA's CEO Roadshows and COVID-19 response.
The CEO Roadshows were held for the first time virtually. It was held in 4 regions, being South Africa and 3 international regions, the Americas, Europe, Middle East and Africa, as well as Asia Pacific. Because the roadshows were held virtually, it was possible for the SAICA senior executive team to actually support the CEO in the message that was being delivered and to respond in a lot more detail to members. Another one of the highlights of the last few months has been our COVID response. Members would have been aware of the Leadership in Times of Crisis series that was held early on in the year that was attended by close to 48,000 attendees. Of the 48,000 attendees, roughly 35% were non-members, and the viewership of the Leadership series was actually viewed in excess of 37 countries. SAICA has also covered COVID support for members, and the survey in this respect had concluded at the end of September. Around 200 members had requested for SAICA to contact them directly for one-on-one engagements to support these members directly. And once this process is completed, SAICA will roll out interventions that can better support every single member. The last issue that I would like to cover is the Women in Leadership series. A total of 13 events were held during Women's Month in August. Viewership was around 4,000 members, which was quite significant. And this just continues our dedicated support to members. If any member would like to get in contact with SAICA, would like SAICA to contact them for a one-on-one engagement, please get in touch with your regional office and your regional executives, and we'd be happy to continue our support. Thank you.
Due to the ripple effects of COVID-19, the June 2020 ITC exam unfortunately had to be postponed to November 2020, which means that students may only receive results in January 2021. Mandy Olivier, Senior Executive, Professional Development at SAICA, brings you news about the confirmed dates for the first and second sittings of the 2021 ITC exams.
As you'll know, earlier in the year, due to COVID, we had to postpone the June ITC exam. This will now be written in November 2020, and all the arrangements are just about in place for that to go ahead. Unfortunately, as a result of the virus, the universities had to shut down, and this has meant extending their academic program. This means that exam result dates for universities will only become available as late as January 2021. Therefore, we've had to look at the dates for the 2021 RTC sittings. I'm very pleased to be able to inform you today that the first sitting of the RTC will take place on the 14th and 15th of April 2021. We did give some indication earlier in the year that this would either take place in March or in April, but the April date has now been confirmed. I would also like to remind you that the second sitting for RTC in 2021 will take place on the 1st and 2nd of September 2021. I hope that you found this useful, training officers, and all the best to those candidates that will be writing in November as well as in 2021. Thank you.
Christian Voster, Regional Executive of SAICA's Southern Region, speaks on its new council and member engagement initiatives.
During the last quarter, our new council was elected and actually had its first meeting, with Anine Pfeiffer taking the position of regional president. Rian Radman was elected as vice chair, and Surya Gerdin stayed on as past president. The main points of discussion at the council meeting was the overall SAICA strategy. There was an informative session by SAICA Standards Division, as well as a discussion on the new SAICA Charter. Our districts also had their AGMs, with Philip Kemp being elected as chairperson of the Port Elizabeth District Association, Peter Broderick as chairperson of the Garden Route District Association, and Loreka Corlett of the East London District Association. On the engagement side, we really missed our face-to-face engagement, but like the rest of SAICA, we took most of our initiatives online, starting off with our CA exchange or speed mentoring sessions. We also had various armchair discussions focused on our district associations. Then, as part of SAICA's Friday morning Knowledge Cafe offerings out of the Cape Town office, we ran two series. The one was on personal branding and the other one was innovation in the workplace. We also did an industry cafe focusing on the manufacturing industry. I would like then to end off with taking this opportunity to invite members to our year-end virtual business breakfast. It's on the 17th of November, and our theme is Quo Vadis South Africa, with our key speakers being Melanie Verwoerd, Dr. Azar Tamin, facilitated by Stephen Grootes. Thank you very much.
From 12 November to 2 December, as part of our CA of the Future series, you can join us for thought-provoking sessions where worldwide speakers will bring some visibility and context to the future and show you where opportunities lie in technology and innovation. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait to hear what ethical hacker Jamie Woodruff, one of the world's leading authorities on cybersecurity, has to say. He made a name for himself by hacking high-profile sites such as Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, and even Kim Kardashian's website. Book your space today.
SAICA Central Region is the regional council comprising of 9 districts that span across the Free State, Northwest and Northern Cape. Div Lamprecht, Regional Executive of the Central Region, gives us a brief overview of what the Central Region has been up to in the last quarter.
Our newly established Central Region Council is now fully operational and held its first meeting in August 2020. The following items were discussed in the meeting. Challenges experienced by our SMP members regarding the IFRS disclosure requirements for biological assets, that is on the capitalization versus expenditure, and Milton assisted us with a meeting with prominent APC members, and it was agreed that SAICA would provide a guide to members on this issue. We also discussed the proposed SAICA strategy for 2021, as well as the change of the regional constitutions and bylaws to council charters. Our member engagement team has recently created a member induction document for all members that joins the SAICA structure. We have also created a specific District 1 page that clearly defines the roles and responsibilities of our district associations, as well as the benefits of joining the SAICA district structures. Our region were also involved in the rolling out of the new CPD policy by conducting numerous sessions to districts and specific companies who requested in-house sessions. The region also piloted a business WhatsApp project, which we use to communicate urgent messages to our members via WhatsApp with great success. The project is currently being rolled out to the other regions. The region also profiled its council members on Facebook, which turned out to be a great success. All the regions are now involved in 2 projects, namely the new member engagement, that is one-on-one discussions that we host with newly registered SAICA members, and our COVID call campaign, which we contacted around 60 members each who requested to be contacted by SAICA to assist and provide advice regarding a number of challenges that they experienced currently or during lockdown. And lastly, the Central Region also hosted a family quiz night with the use of Mentimeter and Microsoft Teams. The session was very well received and members requested more of these social engagement platforms in the absence of face-to-face gatherings. Thank you.
Locally and internationally, the auditing profession has come under significant pressure, mainly due to corporate failures that have had a significant impact on the South African economy. This has culminated into the questioning of the role of the external auditor. Audit reform is in the spotlight internationally too. Thandakush Lemioli, Project Director of Audit and Assurance, speaks more on this, as well as the decision highlighted in the 2020 budget speech of the National Treasury, appointing an independent panel of experts to review practices within the auditing profession.
So in response to the corporate failures and alleged audit failures that have taken place recently in South Africa, SAICA has decided to pursue on a strategic project on audit reform. So the seeming focus on auditing specifically may be misleading, as there is an acknowledgement that we need to look at the wider finance ecosystem. However, as you mentioned in your introduction, the Minister of Finance, in delivering his budget speech in February this year, indicated quite strongly that it is the auditing profession that they will be looking into. Therefore, as the majority of external auditors in South Africa are SAICA members, having qualified as chartered accountants, it is our view that SAICA needs to respond to this matter. So in our quest to understand the challenges that the profession is grappling with in South Africa and to identify possible solutions specifically for the South African auditing market, SAICA is in the process of consulting with various stakeholders in the wider profession. This includes all of the role players in the corporate reporting value chain. In a project of this magnitude, collaboration is required amongst all those involved. Therefore, even as SAICA facilitates these discussions, it is our view that to get to the possible solutions, we require a joint effort from all of those responsible within the finance ecosystem.
SAICA hosted 2 sessions with the Auditor General on the 27th of July on the MFMA 2018-2019 audit outcomes and concerns about the audit rating of the public sector due to the national state of disaster. Natasha Supal, Senior Executive of Public Sector at SAICA, gives us a brief overview of the two sessions and their outcomes.
SAICA hosted various sessions with the Auditor General recently. These sessions included other participants such as SAICA and National Treasury. The first session was on the 2018-19 MFMA audit outcome. The AGSA reported an overall regression in irregular expenditure, fruitless and wasteful expenditure, and unauthorized expenditure. The second session was on the concerns of the audit readiness of the public sector. The national state of disaster brought about a lot of uncertainties with financial reporting and legislative deadlines in the public sector. Concerns were raised from the public sector on the audit readiness due to resource constraints to prepare financial statements and effectively managing the audit process. The AGSA, National Treasury, and SAICA addressed all of these concerns on the webcast. The last session dealt with anti-intimidation threats in the public sector, where practical challenges and advices was discussed on intimidation threats experienced in the public sector by our members. All of these recordings can be downloaded from SAICA's website.
Gigi Nyanen, Project Director of SAICA's Tax Department, will now give you the top 3 highlights of the tax division. One of them is the taxpayers' rights in the time of a disaster.
The conference dealt with a number of issues, including taxpayer rights to action and redress against the state during a time of crisis, as well as the taxpayer's responsibilities when SARS experiences a disaster and vice versa. It boasted speakers such as the Commissioner of SARS, as well as a number of representatives from local and international organizations. The conference, which included interactive live polling and gamification throughout, had a great turnout and was a great success. The National Tax Committee made a submission to the Standing and Select Committees of Finance on the draft Tax Administration Laws Amendment and Tax Laws Amendment Bills of 2020 at the public hearings which were held on the 7th of October. The submission addressed a number of policy changes, such as the removal of the requirement of willfulness from certain statutory offences, as well as other technical amendments. The detailed submission is available on the SAICA website. In line with Ethics Months, we acknowledge the ethical leadership of our members and those of RCBs as well as SAIT, who have reported various employment tax incentive schemes which have been marketed to their clients or themselves. Although the alarm regarding these schemes was raised in 2019, it appears that the promoters of these schemes are using the desperation of businesses and the current economic climate to increase their gains. The matter has now again been raised through collaboration with other professional bodies in the RCB Forum, National Treasury, and SARS for further investigation. A detailed correspondence on the gist of the schemes was sent out to all members in August.
Now for a quick update on the implementation of the CA 2025 project, brought to you by Mandy Olivier, Senior Executive, Professional Development.
I'm sure all of you have been waiting excitedly for the implementation of the CA 2025 project. In terms of the pre-qualification process, we are busy doing our final rounds of consultation with academics and with training officers. As soon as that consultation is complete, we'll be making the final changes to the key documents, which is an entry-level CA 2025 framework, as well as guidance to both the academic and the training program. We hope that that'll be approved at the IPD meeting on the 18th of November later this year. And then implementation will take place over a period of 4 years between 2021 and 2025. If you don't know what CA 2025 is, please go onto the website and have a look at the exciting changes that we'll be making to our qualification framework. Thanks very much.
SAICA dedicated the month of October to ethics due to the Global Ethics Day observed on the 21st of October. Jean-Phil Yoon, Project Director of Practices, tells us more about the series of webinar broadcasts that SAICA will be launching on different aspects of ethics.
SAICA has dedicated October to ethics due to Global Ethics Day being on the 21st of October. The October edition of the Accountancy SA South Africa also contained a series of ethics-related articles. SAICA launched a 6-part webinar series addressing various aspects of ethics affecting the accounting profession. This conversation is a strategic milestone in SAICA's journey towards restoring the professional reputation and trust the society has in the profession. We had an opening session and 3 main panel discussions, each talking to the overarching theme. The panels represent key conversations and were held with leaders within the main constituencies within the profession. In addition to the panel discussions, we had sessions where we were talking about living the code and making ethics practical. Corporate financial failures in South Africa have caused investors to lose the trust in the financial reporting environment. And as such, members of SAICA have a key role to play in creating a global ethical culture where the public can trust the financial information represented by businesses, ensuring market stability. SAICA is not alone in the process of restoring this trust. SAICA joins hands with professional accountants who drive a larger agenda and audit reform around the globe. Like they say, be the change you want to see.
Naeem Asfat, Regional Executive of Eastern Region and Member Engagement, will now speak about a pilot program that was launched during COVID-19 called the SAICA Business Emergency Room, which he describes as the ICU for business.
Member Engagement had initiated a pilot program called the SAICA Business Emergency Room in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, which in essence was an ICU for business. But more importantly, it was a demonstration of thought leadership and a practical way in the profession playing an active role in strengthening the economy. The program was successful with over 15 businesses that were assisted by business advisors from Deloitte, Investec and Action Coach. Another exciting program that was undertaken by the Member Engagement Division was the Leadership Evolution Masterclass Series, or fondly known as LEMS, which was aimed at addressing the gender equality issue at leadership levels within business. This was a transformational program for female chartered accountants in leveraging their unique potential and accelerating their career growth. Rising to the current challenges, we had taken this program to a virtual platform which proved to be a success.
Milton Siegel, Senior Executive of Corporate Reporting, will now update you on the guidance that SAICA released on the CEO and Financial Director sign-off for the JSE listings requirements, as well as other important developments SAICA has been involved in.
Good day. The SAICA corporate reporting team, together with the working group of SAICA members, produced a guidance document to best assist its members in applying the revised JSE's listing requirements 3.84K. This requirement now mandates a sign-off by both the Chief Executive Officer and Financial Director as to the adequacy of their business's internal financial control environment. The team conducted extensive research, interviews with both the JSE, CFOs, regulators, and preparers to produce this document that has been widely distributed to both listed entities and their sponsors. The guide analyzes and interprets the complexity and consequences of the sign-off and also provides a mechanism to assist entities in setting up the required system of internal financial control. This document is the first of its kind and the only available one on the market. This contributes not only to SAICA members, but to the entire capital markets as a whole. The team have also realigned both the national and regional members in business structures with the recreation of the Northern Region Committee 2. The regional agendas of these structures now mirror that of the national MIB, allowing for uniformity in both the inputs into and out of all MIB structures. We have included both technical and non-technical submissions and inputs into the MIB. This has been done to both inform the structures and allow for debates and advisory as to how SAICA and its members can better serve its members in business. The structure allows for both inputs into the national structure by the regions and back to the regions by the national structure. thus taking the SAICA MRB conversation to all SAICA members, irrespective of where they may be situated. We urge all interested members to please reach out to your regional executives and come, contribute, and join the conversation. The team has also established a monthly engagement with the JSE. This is of strategic importance to SAICA to engage with the regulator on our strategic projects and initiatives. This helps align our reporting training to members with that of the vision of the regulator in an effort to ensure that the South African reporting standards remain world-class. The meeting allows SAICA to assist members with regulatory compliance and offer advice to both the regulator and our members. A stronger capital market translates into a stronger economy. Hence, the SAICA CPR team tries to contribute directly to this initiative. The SAICA Corporate Reporting Executive sits on the International Federation of Accountants' prestigious Professional Accountants in Business Forum. This forum is a global body consisting of both member bodies and professionals from the world's leading economies. Last month, SAICA, together with Ian Kramer from Anglo Gold Ashanti, presented a paper on the role of the finance team in creating value for an entity. The paper focused on the extent of both financial and non-financial reporting of the global mining giant and stressed the importance of an integrated mindset in producing the highest levels of integrated and sustainability reporting to complement the traditional IFRS reporting. The presentation was extremely well received and will feature on the IFAC's global page in weeks to come.
Cloud in Practice is taking place again, and if you're in practice or in the SMME space, it's definitely an event you don't want to miss out on. Now in its fourth year, Cloud in Practice will run from the 30th of November to the 4th of December with 7 virtual webcasts. This year, the focus is all about practice strategy and cloud tools.
In August 2020, SAICA concluded the hearing for Mr. Anoj Singh, former CFO at Transnet and Eskom. Mr. Singh was found guilty of 12 charges proffered against him. More information on the outcome of his hearing, as well as some of the media exposure with regard to this, can be found on the SAICA governance microsite. In June 2020, SAICA implemented a new disciplinary code as part of their revised bylaw project. Alicia Daniels, Project Director for Legal and Discipline, will discuss the key enhancements to the disciplinary process.
I am Alicia Daniels, the Project Director for Legal and Discipline at SAICA, and I'll be taking you through some of the key enhancements to the revised bylaws, which were implemented by SAICA on the 1st of June 2020. The reason for the revised bylaws was to make the disciplinary process at SAICA more transparent and more speedy and understandable. The disciplinary process is now set out under a disciplinary code, which appears as Appendix 4 at the back of the SAICA bylaws. Complaints now will be either directed to the Professional Conduct Committee, the PCC, or to the Disciplinary Committee for more serious misconduct and for a formal hearing. For the less serious misconduct, we now have introduced schedules to the back of the bylaws, which set out in plain language what the misconduct is and what the appropriate sanction to be applied is. Members for the less serious misconduct are allowed to now elect to admit guilt, and this will obviously shorten the process. And these are for less serious matters. For the more serious matters through the disciplinary committee, the parties are now allowed to engage in without prejudice discussions in order to try to settle the matter before the disciplinary committee convenes. So this is also to shorten the process. In terms of sanctioning powers, the disciplinary committee's powers have also been enhanced. The SAICA PCC may now also take note of court findings against members and convene a fit and proper inquiry to decide whether or not, in light of those court findings, a member should still be allowed to retain their membership of SAICA. In terms of transparency, now on a quarterly basis, all guilty findings against members will be published in the SAICA Accountancy Essay and on the SAICA Governance website. For more details on the revised bylaws, please visit the SAICA website or the dedicated mailbox.
Professor Lungile Wiseman-Nkuhlu recently launched a book, Enabler or Victim, KPMG SA and State Capture. In this book, the professor gives readers an intimate glimpse into what transpired after he took on the role of chairman of KPMG SA from March 2018 to March 2020. His account, from an insider's perspective, is a cautionary tale of what happens when good governance and warning signs are ignored, and the long road back from disaster. The lessons learned are not only for the auditing profession, but also for any corporate or business interested in good corporate governance. The book is now available in leading bookstores around the country. We now speak to the wise professor.
Having completed 3 years as chairman of KPMG South Africa, I have written the book we are launching today, Enabler for Victim, KPMG South Africa and State Capture. It's a memoir. It is my story of the journey that the firm has traveled since September 2017 from my perspective. We believed that crystallizing the root causes was our greatest challenge, and being flippant about the matter was not going to help. We went beyond attributing the crisis to greed and carelessness. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, the book is not only about KPMG and the profession. It is also about leadership and professionalism in all spheres. It is a wake-up call to all of us. We have to think and act differently as leaders and professionals if our vision for a democratic, non-racial, non-sexist, prosperous and inclusive South Africa is to be realized. I encourage you to read the book. Hopefully you'll be inspired to strive for recognition and respect.
From January to the end of September 2020, SAICA has had more than 1,300 positive media exposures. SAICA will continue to drive positive messaging in the media, given the scrutiny that the accounting and the auditing profession are currently under. Have you registered on the SAICA member portal yet? As a member, you can use it to log queries with SAICA, eliminating the need to call the contact center or send an email. You can also track the progress and completion of your queries. Sign up by clicking on the member portal login at the top of the SAICA homepage, or go directly to mysaica.co.za.
And that's a wrap of our first episode of SAICA News. Thank you for watching.
It's been a pleasure sharing SAICA's news with you. See you again next month.